Good evening, everybody in Mama Magic Land. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's Teixeira here from Mama Is Me. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening and joining us as we speak this evening to Nicci Proome, who will be talking to us about sleep. Now, I know sleep is something, especially if you're a new parent, that can totally evade you. Everything you thought you knew about sleep all of a sudden changes when you have children. So this evening we want to talk about sleep and sleeping patterns for children. So give me a second as I just invite Nicci Proome to join us, and let's hear what she has to say about sleep. I trust you guys are all keeping nice and warm. Let me see if I can find her. Yeah. Okay. Hi everyone, I see all you guys waving at me. It's so cool to see so many people join us this evening. Nicci is from Bedtime Baby Bliss, and she is a pediatric sleep consultant. So we are so excited to have her with us this evening. If I can just find her. Hi there, Shannon. Okay, I see lots of people joining in. So cool. I guess you guys are all parents who have just put your babies to sleep. Okay, I'm just trying to see if Nicci is, yeah. Okay, there we go. Bedtime Baby Bliss has joined us. Nicci, are you there? So just a little bit about Nicci again. She is a certified infant stimulation specialist, and she specializes in pediatric sleep. Hi there. Oh, you are being well rested. How are you doing, Nicci?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing very well. My babies have gone to sleep, so I am in a better space.
Mine too. I'm also celebrating. Whoop, whoop.
I know, right? I think for most parents, that moment when you get to enjoy a cup of coffee or a glass of wine after you've put down your little ones is just absolute bliss. And I'm sure you agree with me.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, I live for the moment that my kids wake up in the morning, but I also live for the moment that they go to bed.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for joining us this evening, Nicci. I was just telling everybody that you are a certified infant stimulation specialist. It's a lot, it's big words, and a pediatric sleep consultant. Tell us a little bit more about what that actually means.
Okay, so the difference between the two is that a stimulation specialist means that I will be able to take your child's daily routine and say, right, so at this part of the day, according to their day needs, we'll need to use so much energy in order to accumulate a significant amount of sleep debt in order to, or not deprive, but accumulate enough sleep debt in order to sleep well at this time. So, for example, I wouldn't take your, or advise you to take your 6-month-old out to a 2-hour baby class at 2 p.m. I would rather say, hey, let's take our 6-month-old who's just woken up at 9:30 to a 2-hour baby class just before their 2-hour nap at lunchtime. And I would say, let's do A, B, and Z to stimulate tummy time because they're going to be doing A, B, and Z in milestones according to their growth chart. that I would be following through your journey. So by putting the two together, the stimulation specialist and the sleep specialist, it gives me a full range of opportunity to make sure that everything connects beautifully.
I think what you're saying is so fascinating to me, because when I became a parent, I'm a bit of a control freak, and I wanted my child, who was obviously very new to me, to do everything according to a particular book that I read. I wanted him to do everything according to the book, and of course, it just didn't work that way. And sleep was one of the things I didn't realize how much it meant to me and how much it meant to my son, and how to actually get the right amount of sleep at the right amount of time. And obviously making sure that, as you say, making sure that we're not doing activities or classes at the wrong time, because then we're actually just wasting our energy, our money, and it's become so frustrating. I read on your page something so interesting, and I want you to talk to us about that. You say that we have to teach our children how to sleep, and I mean, I say it's fascinating to me, because I just thought sleep is as natural as breathing.
No, actually, it's actually so not like that at all. What majority of our sleep books forget to tell us, and let's face it, I'm a mom, okay? When we buy ourselves a sleep book, do we not all get the one that's this thin because it's going to be quick to read? None of us get the encyclopedia that's 700 pages long, because we've got stuff to do. Okay, we just go for the highlighted part that tell us what's going to work. Give us the condensed. Don't give us, we want this. Okay, so our babies sleep according to their temperament.
Wow.
So what if I have an angelic baby who just comes out and does what they need to do, that aren't bothered by sound, that aren't bothered by texture? They're not a high needs baby. Lucky you. Fantastic. Lucky you. My firstborn was like that. I thought it had to do with parenting. Then I had the second child. Apparently, it's got nothing to do with parenting. It's got to do with temperament. Okay. So then you go through the different phases of temperament. You've got your high needs babies who can be overstimulated by as little as a tiny little string or tiny little thread in their baby growth that can send them from absolutely fine to skyrocketing, shouting down the house within seconds of missing that overtired cue. Now, that's a very sensitive baby, okay? You get your strong-willed babies who will really fight to go down for naps, even though they are tired. They're strong-willed, okay, super tired. And then you have your very emotionally needy babies who cannot cope going to sleep on their own. And they do need attachment parenting. They need the extra hands-on comfort, and that's absolutely fine. That is their temperament. So long as it doesn't negatively affect their sleep patterns, where they need you throughout their sleep cycle over and over and over again. We have to find that equal balance. Okay. So when I talk about teaching to sleep, okay, there's different phases throughout the sleep regressions where sleep is negatively affected. For example, let's look at natural sleep. Within the first 12 weeks, sleep patterns emerge through the circadian rhythm or the body clock. That is where the body starts to learn how to sleep according to daylight, and that isn't trained by food, light, and socialization. But what about the child who suffers from colic and reflux?
Sure. Wow.
Their bodies do not develop like the normal child because they have got severe pain, severe discomfort. So their bodies are having to deal with something completely different. So their normal development is being completely derailed to that of the typical 0 to 12-month-old. then you go to your 4-month period where you have that significant
Sleep regression.
Sleep regression, when you have that drastic brain development where you go from much larger sleep increments during the day. It's actually a good thing, but there's a significant tragedy that happens during the day. And then the overnight sleep goes haywire. Okay.
Yeah.
So during those different stages, we need to be there to teach baby how to go back to sleep, so that once these regressions and these external effects like reflux and colic disappear, they're still sleeping well. Okay. Because if we leave it alone and just hope it goes away by itself, we're left with a little kid who really, it's the blind leading the blind, in that. And I hate that I've just used that as an example, but we cannot help a tiny little baby guide themselves to sleep better when they know no better.
If they don't know better, absolutely. You know, Nicci, so I have now, my daughter was one of the kids that was a good sleeper. So she came, you know, at birth, and she slept very well. And I haven't had any issues with her as per se. She's 3 years old now. And as a toddler who is quite active, is this a stage where I'm still having to teach her sleep patterns? Is this a stage where I sort of like, okay, you've figured it out for yourself now? Or are there still things that I need to be looking at age 3?
No, you only really need to deal with it if it comes up.
Okay.
Honestly.
So
don't fix it if it ain't broke.
Okay, so cool. But you know, so I have also she's got an older brother, and he was my first child, and in all honesty, he drove me absolutely bonkers because he just refused to sleep. And in many ways, he mimics my own, as an adult, I realize, sleeping patterns. And so we've got quite a vivid imagination. And so now I'm seeing that between the both of them, they have these moments where they wake up at night, kind of like where they're obviously having maybe a night terror or vivid dreams. And how does that impact them? How does sleep relate to their dreams?
Okay, so you have to be very cautious as a sleep specialist when addressing a mum who's concerned about their child having these chronic terrors and nightmares. Okay. Because there's a distinct differentiation between them. And I'm going to go through it. Okay. So I'm going to go through nightmare first. Okay. So with a nightmare.
Okay, so a nightmare.
Nightmare. Okay. A nightmare occurs later on in the night. Okay. This occurs during the lighter sleep phases, during the during the REM cycles, lighter sleep phases, when the brain dreams. Okay,
so this is when we normally dream.
Naturally dream. Okay, and this can be onset by fictitious things that they've made up during the day, whether they've seen something on TV, something that's been troubling them at school. It can also be triggered by worries that they have about, you know, personal things that they've seen within the home, or something that's traumatized them that they're struggling to come to terms with. Okay. In regards to the nightmares, when they're having a nightmare and they wake up, they are extremely devastated. They will be shaking and screaming for you, and they will not calm down until they have you embraced. And they will not go back to sleep for a significant amount of time because they are afraid of going back to sleep, because they are petrified of going back into that dream. So it can take them a significant amount of time to eventually calm themselves back into sleep, and they could be waking up and checking on you to make sure that you are there to keep them safe. Okay, so that is a nightmare.
Okay.
They wake up from
Nightmare.
the
Got you.
nightmare. The next day, they will be able to talk about that nightmare, and they might have
Oh,
that
and
same
remember and
nightmare
recall.
over again, and they will remember that nightmare, and they might not want to go back to sleep the next day, frightened that they will have that nightmare again. Now, with a night terror, the night terror is actually something that occurs during sleep whilst they are asleep, even though they
Okay.
might look like they're awake. Now, with a night terror, this happens within the first third quarter of their sleep duration. So this will happen within the first 4 hours of them going to sleep at night. Okay. So
Okay.
they
So
might scream.
is this light sleep?
No, this is the most restorative part of their sleep.
Okay.
Their first 4 hours is the deepest sleep that your child is going to get throughout the night. Okay. So this is happening in deep, deep sleep.
Deep
Okay.
sleep.
So deep sleep. And this is a non-REM sleep. Okay. So they're going to scream. They could be running around. They are drastically confused. There's no understanding of what's happening within that isolated little shenanigan that's going on. And do what you will not be able to rise that child. No form of comforting, holding, or hugging will actually comfort that child until that night terror spell has subsided.
Wow.
Okay. So the best thing to do for a night terror is to stand back and wait. That's all you can do, because they do not know that you are there, because it is happening during a non-REM state. They are not awake. They are not conscious of you there. It is an internal event. Okay. So with a night terror, they will eventually wake up, have not a cooking clue as to what's happened,
and just go
have a
back
look around, and just go back to sleep. And the next day, the likelihood of them knowing what the heck just went on the night before, not a clue.
Wow.
So the trick is to not make any fuss about it. And we just say, you're okay. You're okay. Okay, cool. And we just want to be very careful, because it can be hereditary.
Okay, because
So
I was about to ask that. Yeah. And is this also like where sleepwalking and sleep talking occurs? It's exactly the same sort of time frame.
Well, the sleep talking obviously is falls within the same realm of dreaming, so that falls under your nightmare. But your sleepwalking also falls under the same category as your terror.
So I have a question here from one of our viewers that says, my daughter suffers from night tremors almost nightly. So is this when we consider it chronically? And what should this mom do?
Okay, so first of all, you want to do a little bit of history checking. So to see if there is a history of night terrors in the family. And the second thing you want to look at is your child's sleep cycle. So are they getting enough sleep? Because it is very, very promising to increase the amount of overnight sleep. Looking at data that has been accumulated over time, we've seen that a later night cycle directly links to an increase in night terrors.
Wow.
So, for example, a child who's going to bed anywhere from 8:30 to 10:30 at night tends to suffer more with night terrors than a child who doesn't.
That's so very interesting.
Yeah. So we want to dial it back a little bit. So decrease the night by half an hour. See what happens during the course of a week. If nothing happens, decrease by another half an hour. So if you end up with your kid going to bed at 7:30, fantastic. That's wonderful.
Wow. So talking about that, Nicci, does that mean, what is a good time for a 3-year-old to be going to bed? And I ask this because I remember becoming a mom and going to antenatal classes and moms and tots and all these kinds of classes, and everybody's saying like, oh, my kid goes to bed at 6:30 or 7 p.m. And I'm like, that seems so early, because in my
Yeah.
mind, I'm thinking if they're going to bed at 6:30, they're going to wake up at 5 a.m. So what is a good time for a bub to go to sleep? And I'm saying sort of toddler age.
Yeah,
Um,
toddler.
toddler age, what's a good time for them to go to sleep, and how much sleep do they need?
Okay. Well, it all depends on your sleep need child, because remember, not every child needs the same amount of sleep. You have to look at
Absolutely.
your high sleep needs, your low sleep needs, and your average. So on average, a um, let's do a ball range from 18 months to 3 years.
Okay,
We're
good.
looking at around about 11 to 11 and a half hours overnight. So you get to pick your time. So long as they're getting around 11 and a half hours, you're spot on.
Okay. So that, yeah, that's a lot of sleep. I'm just thinking in my mind that, like, gosh, seems like so much. So if you're saying 11 hours at night, the same age group, how many naps do they need during the day then?
Okay, well, again, it depends on your child. For example, some 2.5-year-olds drop their naps altogether. They no longer need a nap, and that's absolutely fine. However, some 3-year-olds still need a 45-minute nap in order to survive until bedtime and still sleep 11 hours at night. So again, it
Oh,
is
absolutely.
dependent. But if you look at your average, we're looking at around about your 18 months. We do one nap a day for about 2 hours. From about 2 years old, we do around an hour, hour and a half. And in
Okay.
3, we can start dropping it, half an hour, 45 minutes. But again, they don't have to nap every day. They can do one nap on, one nap off,
Oh, wow.
two
Okay.
naps off, one nap on. It really doesn't matter. It really is dependent on what your child needs on that day. You don't just, boom, no more naps, cold turkey
Yeah.
for,
Yeah.
indefinitely. We really need to be um, gentle with our
Yeah.
toddlers because they're still little and they need time to adapt.
Yeah, I definitely see that with my 3-year-old. Today, she didn't want to nap. She flat out said, "I'm not napping today," and she was
Yeah.
okay. Previously I would be like, "Oh no, you need to nap because you're gonna be so miserable come 5 o'clock," But she's really okay. I have also made her naps a little bit shorter, and that's also
Mm.
sort of just 40 winks, if you will, just
Yeah.
given her that brain boost that she needs, and then she's back. um Nicci, I've got a question here. It says, my almost 3-year-old girl used to sleep through since birth, and all of a sudden wakes up at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and then wants to climb in bed with us. Is this normal?
The question is she napping?
Okay, so Scully Louisa, is your little girl napping? If the girl's napping, is that okay? If not, drop the nap. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
So
And that's
so
a
napping.
telltale sign that she had accumulated enough sleep debt to sleep through the night. And that is an indicator. When your child takes longer and longer to fall asleep at night,
Okay.
and they start waking up at the break of dawn much earlier, or starting to climb into bed overnight at random times, big indicator that it's time to start looking at dropping that nap. And listen, I've got 2 kids of my own, and I know exactly it's an emotional struggle for us to let go of that
Absolutely.
nap.
Yeah.
That's our time.
No,
That's
I hear you.
our but
I absolutely was like, please go to sleep. Just have a nap. And she's like, I'm not having a nap today. And it devastated me, as you said. I've got a couple of more questions here that says, how do I get my toddler to sleep through the night? And I know you're probably going to say, have a look at the child and how many naps. Is there any other tips you want to give regarding that?
Well, no, there's actually two ways of looking at it. Yeah, there's obviously there's a biological sense to it. So we have to look at the biological makeup of why wouldn't that toddler be sleeping through the night? But what if it was an emotional aspect? What if they needed some emotional building blocks to be able to sleep through the night? So that's when I would start introducing your 4R system. So I've got a little play therapy technique where we start out with our sleep manners or sleep rules. I had to make it rules because it had to have an R in it. But rules rules sound quite rule. So sleep manners. So sleep manners is climb in bed, stay in bed,
okay,
close your eyes. And they will instantly get rewarded for that. So they get a sticker for doing those three things instantly.
wow,
Because toddlers need instant gratification for positive behavior. They
wow,
don't
that's
understand
awesome.
waiting 24 hours. They don't understand that concept.
Yes.
Okay.
Or at the end.
So that's it. So we will give them a chart that has 3 simple rules on it. And during the day, we will use role play to enforce these new rules with a special dolly that they will take to sleep. So for example, I've got my little doodles, okay? So that's my doodles.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah. So doodles will be my little doll that we play with. And we will put Dudums into the bed and say, okay, Dudums, it's time to climb in bed. Dudums, we're going to stay in bed. Okay, Dudums, close your eyes. I'll see you later. And then off we go. Okay, so there we have set in stone from a parental point of view, so that your toddler can see for themselves as a parental point of view what it looks like to follow the R's, the rules of the bedtime manners, the R's. Okay, so from there, you've got your rules, you've got your role play, then you've got your rewards. You have your instant rewards, which is as they climb in bed, you reward them for doing
with
the
sticker.
That's it. Then overnight, if they get out of bed, we return quietly with intention. So it's not flimsy, whimsy, jumping back and forth, making a shenanigan about it, or we're getting angry and stomping and being all territorial and I have said. We don't do that.
Yeah,
it is just a matter of fact, straight face. I could do this a million times, honey, in your head. Because at the end of the day, you are going to have to outwalk a toddler. And they are hardcore.
Oh, they are.
Having to outwalk a toddler? Okay. So once you've done your returns, the next day, it is then reward again.
Good. So you've got two rewards happening.
There you go.
That is actually such great advice, Nicci. And I mean, I think I've been unbeknownst to me, kind of sort of actioning those things out. But we have another question here from Colleen. Sorry, Nicci. Colleen says, my 23-month-old sleeps okay, goes down easy at night, nighttime wakes 2 to 3 times, and then she cries. She wants someone in the room. How do we get her to sleep through? And I think that relates to another question that I have that speaks of my toddler is afraid of the dark, and how do we ease?
Okay. So there's obviously, again, we have to look at the setup of their day routine. So waking up during the night isn't a natural thing for a toddler, because by the time you get to toddlerhood, you should be able to connect your sleep cycles and be able to go back to sleep without any trouble. So there's definitely a reason why they're
Okay.
waking up during a sleep cycle and needing extra help. But for the being afraid of the dark, absolutely normal, because round about the 2.5, 3 mark, that is when they neurologically develop the ability to create fictitious
Wow. So the
monsters and
imagination.
thank you. That I'm like, what's that word? How can I stall it? Round about that stage between 2.5, 3, they have that neurological development, and that is that stage where all of a sudden they get the fear of darkness. Okay, and
Okay.
this is when we bring out the spray bottle. Okay, now with the spray bottle, it's just an empty bottle that I will
Okay.
sprinkle some fairy dust for my girls or some monster dust for my boys. And I just, mommy magic, daddy magic, and
I love
dependent
that.
on your religion, you can spray or blow in some religion if you want as well. Okay, and you tighten up the bottle. Now, the most important part of the spray bottle and the spray bottle technique is to first set the foundation.
Okay.
Now we're in the room and I'm going to swing open something that they're afraid of. I'm afraid that there's something in the cupboard. So I'm going to swing open the cupboard and I'm going to make it very clear. Look, there's absolutely nothing here, but let's give it a spray just in case.
Wow, that's so
And now
cool.
they're afraid of something under the bed. Let's pull everything out. Look, nothing here, absolutely nothing. But let's give it a spray
A
just
good.
in case. So we are forming a concrete foundation. There is absolutely nothing here, but let's give it a spray just in case, so that they are going to sleep knowing that there is nothing to be afraid of. And
Wow,
by
that's so cool.
spraying something there means that nothing can enter. Because a lot of people will say, there you go, now it's gone. And
Yes, yes,
that
of course.
is creating a fear to say that there was something there.
Yes. I just love that. And I think it's so simple, a simple technique that
Mm,
we can apply. I mean, definitely for my children. What we've had to, well, what we've done is get a night light, which is sort of gives them that sense of comfort. What are your thoughts on night
mm.
lights?
Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. You know, with our tiny babies, it is critical that they have their darkness to sleep,
Yes.
because falling asleep on their own is a learned skill. But by toddler,
Yeah.
they can close their eyes and go to sleep independently. The production of melatonin isn't as significant as it is with a small baby. So for a 2.5-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, a small light in their room is absolutely fine. So long
And
as
we're
they're
not
not
talking
sleeping
bright
with a
lights.
bright light. Yeah,
Yes.
we're talking a night light.
A night
Absolutely
light.
fine. I use a bulb of 4 watts.
Yes,
That's
yes.
4 watts. 4
And a
watts
nice
is my
warm glow.
recommended. Yes, warm glow, 4-watt warm glow. That's my recommended night light bulb.
And you just sorry, just to re-emphasize, you're saying that this is sort of good or safe from a toddler age. So from 18 months,
Toddler.
you can use a night light.
About no, from when they can actually neurologically have that fear. So from about 2.5.
Okay,
Under two
that's
and a
good.
half,
No need.
they do not have the neurological skill to have a fear. It's impossible. So
Wow.
the reason for the cry is absolutely not fear related to darkness. That will be a sleep association for comfort, food,
Okay.
lack of sleep, or they've just had too much sleep and aren't able to fall asleep because they aren't tired enough to fall asleep. So a child who cries at night under 2.5, it's absolutely not linked to being afraid of the dark. at all.
Nicci, I love what you're saying about that regards to neurological behavior. Gosh, tongue twisted there. Speaking of which, often when we send our little ones when they're ready to go to school, you sometimes get reports back from the teacher to say they're not getting enough sleep because they're falling asleep in class, or they're unable to enjoy the activities that's sort of presented in class. How does sleep affect our cognitive development?
Oh my hat. How long do I have to talk about this for? Okay, so let me
I want you to say.
I've got so much to talk about this. Okay, so I'll just put it in a few couple of words. A demonstration occurred just the other day. I was actually download the video and put it on my Instagram and my Facebook. A group of children under the age of 3 were given activities to do prior to nap. Okay, and there was obviously a control group who did not nap and a group who did. Okay, now those children who napped learned almost everything that was demonstrated during those activities than the exact same age group of children who did not nap.
Wow. I mean, I think it works for adults too.
Yeah, absolutely. So what happens is that at certain times of the day, our hormone levels rises and falls. And when our children go to sleep, nap at the right time, their brain reorganizes what they have learned. So it goes from short term into long term. And if it doesn't have that opportunity to do that, it's completely lost.
Wow.
And then it then has to get stored at a later stage. Obviously, this is age dependent. If our child, then older child, has a poor night's sleep, again, that information does not get stored adequately.
It doesn't stay.
It doesn't stay. It does not get this is the best way to do it. You are not going to get a full battery if it's only left on charge for 50% of the time.
Wow.
You've got to let the battery charge all the way, or else it ain't going to function all day.
Yeah, that is very good and very true. And not only am I a mom of 2, I'm also a teacher by profession. And I ask this question because often I ask, or when the students are unable to absorb information, I'm like, how much sleep are you getting? You cannot tell me that you are able to function and absorb information and hold on to it with a lack of sleep. Similarly, so our time is running out, so I want us to just quickly talk lastly about how do we encourage, or how can parents encourage their little ones to create this good sleep pattern? When is a good time, for argument's sake, to have a nap? I ask this because a lot of parents would say, oh, my kid had a nap at 5 p.m., but expect the kid to go to bed at 7 p.m., So can you quickly sort of round up for us about how to create this good sleep cycle for your little ones?
Absolutely. Okay, so it goes according to the time that you wake up during the day. And on average, a toddler should be waking up between 6 and 7 a.m. Okay. And according to the rise and fall of their accumulated sleep depths, their nap should occur around about the 12:01 p.m. mark.
Okay.
If they are napping at 5 p.m., I can guarantee you that they ain't going to be getting any restorative sleep, because according to the rise and fall and the pull and push of your circadian rhythm, which is your keep awake and your homeostatic drive, which is falling asleep, the perfect nap time is 12 to 2. And that is when your non-REM sleep occurs, which is your restorative sleep.
Good.
Naps at the beginning of the day, naps at the end of the day have REM, sorry, can I do that again?
Yes.
REM properties. Beginning of the day, late afternoon have non-REM properties,
non-REM
which
sleep.
means they're going to be. No, I did it right the first time round. Can I do it again?
Yes. Just say it one more time.
It's way too late to be doing this. I was right the first time. Okay, middle of the day, non-rapid eye movement occurs. Way more restorative. So whatever they've learned during the day is going to stick. Having a long morning nap or a long afternoon nap or having a quick 45-minute nap at 5 o'clock, it's not going to restore, and it is also going to push that bedtime through to 8, 9 o'clock at night, which no one needs.
Absolutely.
Wow, that was fun.
That was.
How's that little brain?
Nicci, I can talk to you all day long about sleep because only when I became a parent, I realized how important sleep is, not only for my little ones and their ability to absorb information and learn, but also just for pure joy in the household. I mean, if I'm sleeping well, my kids are sleeping well, my husband's sleeping well, we're truly happy people. And so sleep is so important. And I think your work that you're doing with moms is so vital. I mean, a sleep-deprived mom can so often be confused for a mom that's suffering from postnatal depression, which is so closely related. And it's a real issue that we are facing. And so thank you so much for the work that you're doing as a sleep consultant. Our time is running up. In fact, it has gone. So can you just close off by telling our audience where they can get more information about what you do?
Okay, sure. So I'm actually going to be loading a bunch of free PDFs onto my webpage, which is www.bedtimebabybliss.com. It should be done in the next couple of weeks. Let's say 7 to 10 days. I'm just sourcing through all of my PDFs to go through every single age group, which I'm so excited about. I'm also going to put my free book on there as well, our toddler book, which is going to be amaze balls, our PDF book. It's a great wind down tool for everyone. And you can get me on Instagram. I do a fantastic Watch Me Wednesday every week, which is at Bedtime Baby Bliss. We talk about all kinds of toddler related, baby related. I always ask for our watchers and followers to give me ideas of what they want to see on Wednesdays. So feel free to pop onto my Instagram and Facebook, Bedtime Baby Bliss, and give us ideas. And yeah, that's it. Oh,
thank you so much.
We brought out a product line. Yes, we did.
Oh, I'm very excited to see what it's all about. I'll be checking your website.
I know.
Thank you so very much, Nicci.
Pleasure. It was lovely seeing everybody. Have a fantastic evening.
Same to you, and have a good sleep this evening. Thank you so very much for joining us. Oh, sorry. Some people are asking, are we done? And Raisa, I want to advise you to go and check Nicci's content on Bedtime Baby Bliss, as well as the Mama Magic page. We will be posting more. I know a lot of parents love to talk about sleep, but unfortunately our time has run out. Please be sure to catch us tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. We will be talking about home births with Donna. And Donna the doula, and just a mama, Marie Louise. She'll be chatting to Donna the doula about home births. Thank you so very much, everybody. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.